Welcome back to another video, everyone. My name is Anthony with Anthony Awaken and Awaken Outdoors. Today we are talking about cold weather survival. So I have purposely put myself right next to some water, and you all will see why here in just a moment. And it's kind of in a little bit of a cold sink. There's a big hill over this way, and this is typically kind of the coldest place here on this piece of land. So the gear for today is just going to be a Ferro Rod. There's going to be maybe a fire starter, depending on how I feel, and a knife. So right over here is all of my materials. I'm about to dump those out and get a fire lay prepared right here. And then, purpose of this video, I'm going to soak in here. So ambient air temperature is high 30s, low 40s right now, but we just came out of a really cold snap, and today just happened to be the day that I could get out and do this. So this water, I have a feeling, is going to be freezing cold. I'm going to soak in there, just arms, to simulate hypothermic conditions. And basically you can tell you're hypothermic because you can't do this right here. So you can't touch your thumb to your pinky. That's when you know, hey, you're in a bad way. Teeth chattering, that sort of thing, mumbling, that is some other signs. But what we're going to be checking for today is that loss of dexterity. So we're going to use gross motor skills to get the fire going here in just a minute. So enough of me talking, let's get down here to this water and suffer a little bit. All right, it's probably having a hard time showing it on camera, but I've got 5 minutes and 30 seconds on the clock, and that 30 seconds is just to get me over there. So I'm going to start this, and we'll get to soaking, and then we'll head over that way and build our wet weather hypothermic fire. And also I've got one other thing planned for over there. Let's get after it. All right, that'll give me enough time to get over there. I'll put this in my pocket as I'm walking over. We're at 5 minutes and 20 seconds. And just because I have to be out here for a while today, I'm not gonna get the rest of my clothes wet. So we'll put this drum liner down that we collected all of our materials in. And let's go for it. So for this exercise, you wanna go palms up, and that water is very cold. You wanna go about elbows deep as well. Try not to ball your fists up. Try not to move them around, any of that stuff. And you're gonna really quickly realize just how bad this hurts. So we do, at Campcraft, we do a couple of different things. We do the arm soaks, and then we also do the full body immersion. So that's where you actually have to jump into a pond, and oftentimes it is frozen, and you have to walk across or swim across. So the good thing about this exercise right here is it shows you just how kind of subtle hypothermia comes on. You start to lose that feeling in your fingers, and it starts to burn. After a little bit, it's just going to go numb, and that is very typical of hypothermia. You know, you start to really feel like, man, I'm really cold. Then you get used to it. You typically get sleepy. You start kind of mumbling over your words. You just kind of start talking like that, or teeth chattering. That happens a whole lot. That's one of the first signs as well. But what we're going for right here is to get that thumb to pinky dexterity just to be totally gone. And at that point, we're gonna have to use gross motor skills. So I've already got a fire lay prepped over there, and I've got a large Ferro Rod in my bag, and then I also have a sharp 90-degree spine knife, and we'll use that to get our fire going. I have also decided to add on another skill, and it's just going to be a water boil. So I've already got my water bottle in there, and it's just a quick water boil that that way you can get some warm liquids back into you. So, you know, obviously getting a fire is very important because that warms your body up from the outside. And you'll be able to get your dexterity back. You'll be able to get some extra layers on if you've got them in your bag, some gloves, that sort of thing. But if you've got some water that is boiling hot, you can put your cap back on to your bottle and you'll be able to kind of hug up against that if you wrap it in a shemagh or a sock or something like that. But once that water kind of gets down from that boiling level so you don't burn yourself, you can warm yourself back up from the inside. And that's a really good tip and an important tip for winter survival, is don't just try to warm yourself from the outside, but consume warm liquids, consume hot food, that sort of thing. So obviously you can't really see from way over there, and I can't move the camera either, but I'm starting to lose dexterity. And I'm kind of going numb at this point. My hands definitely are numb. The exposed parts up here out of the water, they're honestly a little bit colder feeling than what is down in the water right now. And that just kind of shows, you know, I'm starting to lose all that dexterity. All that blood is retreating back to my core and things like that. And it's just going numb. So it's a dangerous thing, and this is a good exercise just to show you kind of what hypothermia starts to feel like, and then also how you perform under that stress. Because I've not done this one in at least a year. I think it may be 2 years since I've done the arm soak, and it was not pleasant jumping back in here after not doing it for that long. But again, this is one of the things that is taught at Campcraft Outdoors. That's the place where I've received all of my training. And yeah, it's always fun whenever you watch other people do it, but it's not too much fun when you're the one down here. But definitely, if you can, get out and train like this. It definitely helps build your skill set and it just kind of shows you what you're made of. There for a while I tried to do this once a year. So there's our time, and I don't think I've really got anything else to say. So at this point right here, this is the part that really hurts, is getting out, because all of the air, it hits you, especially if it's a windy day. There have been some people, let me get back in frame here. So there have been some people that have just totally passed out whenever they get up, and you definitely can feel a little woozy. So if you are gonna choose to do this, then definitely keep that in mind. So I'm gonna go ahead, cross back over here and dry off just a little bit, and then we're gonna get that fire going. So let me go ahead. Yeah, I've lost a lot of dexterity already. I can feel that. So we'll get that timer turned off, and we may try to do this one cut. If this doesn't look all that great, sorry. Gives a lot of respect to the survivor man, Les Stroud, for filming everything that he did. All right, so here's our fire lay. Let's get this, let's get this lit. Okay, get it all framed up real good, and my fingers are definitely burning at this point, so it's going to be nice to get the warmth of that fire. And even with that fire, I can go ahead and tell you it still burns. So real quick, the only cut that I'm going to do is just to reset this camera, because I do have a timer on it that it'll cut off when I'm filming in 4K. So let me go ahead, cut that now. And now we're back. So I just reset my timer. It looks like that last clip, I was in there for about 7 minutes filming that one. All right, so right here, let's get after it. Number one, first thing you want to do is go ahead and get yourself dried off. You definitely do not want to be putting all of that moisture into your fire lay. And like I said, I have something a little bit different in store for this one right here. I have a water boil that I'm going to do, and I have a water bottle right in here, and then I have a bunch of fibrous plant materials in here, and then a bunch of smalls. So we're going to go ahead, grab the ferro rod out. I've got my knife right here. We'll lay those exactly where we know that they're at. And over in my jacket, I have some fire starters or fire plugs. And a tip with these is you want to go ahead and jog a couple of these so that way they are exposed and you're not just hitting the outside, which is water repellent, and also it's kind of flame resistant too. And a thing about your ferro rod, always keep this handy right in the very front of your kit in the wintertime, because if you need it right then and there. All right, so enough of me talking and suffering. Let's go ahead and get this fire going. We're going to direct those sparks back in there the best that we can. I've never done this particular fire method with these plugs before. I've used these plugs for other things, but we'll go ahead, we'll give them a go for this method right here. So another thing is you want a big ferro rod here in the winter time, and you want that thing to be able to throw a lot of sparks with gross motor skills, because right now there's a lot of dexterity that is gone. So right there, that actually caught the material, our tinder material. I'm going to ignite it from a different area right there. Just try to get as much flame going as we can. Now let's go ahead, let's put our knife back. Ferro rod, we're going to put that back in our bag. And also this fire is about to get big, so we're going to move everything back. We definitely do not want to burn any of our clothing. We don't want to burn our bag because all that is a resource. So now you can hear that fire is definitely getting going, and now we can kind of actively warm back up. Hopefully dry out my sleeves a little bit because they're soaking wet. All right. So the purpose right here, dry out any wet clothing. Also get some dexterity going again. Right here, let's go ahead, pull this part over. And our water is already starting to bubble in there because this is a very, very, very hot fire. In fact, I'm going to get back away from it just a little bit. We'll get on this side of it. And what I did was over on that front side, I went ahead and left an opening whenever I was starting the fire. That way I can access my fire starter and all of that. Right here, I'm just trying to dry my clothing out. I got pretty wet down in there. And that water, it's already starting to boil. I'm on pretty uneven ground, so I actually need to get it to sit back up a little bit. But again, this is a way to actively warm yourself back up in hypothermic conditions. And then this is also a way to warm yourself back up from the inside once those liquids boil. And as you saw, there was no fancy Boy Scout looking fire lay, nothing wrong with those, but this was just what we call a chaotic teepee, and it's just a bunch of smalls that you put over top, and then you just let that fire grow right through it. Right now, I could definitely add a whole lot more, but for the sake of this demo, this is going to be more than enough. And I'm going to walk around with wet sleeves all day, no doubt. But that's another thing, just make sure you've got good clothing on. I'm not wearing wool today, but wool is definitely the best for this. These are just kind of some polyester blends, so I'm also being careful not to let the fire get a hold of them. Right here, you could kind of move that fire in a little bit. All your other materials. Go ahead and surround that bottle. And then I'll show you all just one little trick. It's definitely not new, but a way to get that bottle out of the fire. We've definitely got a very, very, very hot coal bed, and that is attributed to all of those smalls that we've added in there. If you have never done this type of training before, I would definitely recommend it. Don't just buy the stuff and stick it in your bag and think that you'll be good to go whenever you need it. Definitely helps to come out here and try it. So, all right, we're gonna let that burn for just another minute, and then I'll show you all the trick for getting this bottle off. All right, so our water is definitely good to go. Let's get our bag back here. And in here, and I'll bring it up there close to the camera here in just a moment. In the front of my bag as well, here with just my water kit and that sort of thing, I keep a brightly colored orange hank of paracord. And I keep a few things around this. Let me show you all real quick. So hopefully this is showing. But I keep a Ranger band around the whole thing. And then right here, I just kind of do a clove hitch to keep it all fastened up. And there's a couple of things in here. But the main thing that we're gonna be using right now, get this Ferro Rod toggle out the way. What we're gonna mainly use this for right now is just a toggle. And again, just a clove hitch. You're gonna offset it just like that right there. Let's see if this is showing on camera. You're gonna offset it just like that right there. And that is what we're gonna drop down in our bottle to lift that bad boy off the fire. So I chose the orange just because orange is so high vis, and that's actually a piece of fat wood as well. So that's flammable, can be part of a fire kit if you've ran out of everything. And this is survivor cord as well. So survivor cord has all sorts of cool little things in it, and we'll put it right over here. This looks to be a pretty good flat spot. So like I was saying, survivor cord has a lot of cool things in it. It has fishing line, wax jute, and some snare wire. So that's always fantastic to have those multi options. And that is as simple as it is just to get your bottle off the fire. And like I was saying, I offset that toggle right there. There we go, right there. I think we're focused. I offset that toggle because if you put it right dead center, then it's gonna get stuck in that bottle. Y'all seen, I just kind of wiggled it, and that allowed it to come right out of the bottle. All right, y'all, so there we have it. That is part of kind of a cold water immersion type of deal and a hand soak to simulate hypothermia. So our fire obviously was already prepped, but I believe I'm gonna roll in just a few clips of what materials I collected. But this is a really good exercise to be able to show how you kind of react to cold weather and that loss of dexterity, and it also shows you a lot about your gear and even how you've got your gear staged in your pack. The first time that I did this, my fire kit was way too far down in my pack, and it was miserable to get it out after we did the hand soak. So now I really love the 8-inch crafted ferro rod from Uberleben. That's kind of my go-to in this weather right here. It gives you a huge grip, and you've got a lot of ferro rod surface to be able to strike from. So that is my favorite ferro rod. The fire plugs that I was using are the Bigfoot Bushcraft fire plugs, and those are my favorites. They pack away really easy, and also they are mess free. So I go ahead and I keep a thing of those in my lapel pocket of my jacket that I wear in the winter time. And then aside from that, it's just a knife. So anything with a sharp 90-degree spine, whether you've put it on there or the factory or the maker has put it on there. And then just a water bottle. The kit is very simple that you need out here just to affect your core survival. But this right here, this is a really fun exercise. If you've not done it before, I would highly recommend it. It would be great if you had someone with you if it's your first time trying this or it's right outside of your house so that you can go back in, try it, see how you respond, get through the first minute or two, and after that you're gonna go numb. You won't even feel it. So anyways, if you like this video, hit the like button, subscribe, comment, all those things, and I'll be back with a video very soon.